Hi, Bella Devera, official.wordpress.com, and I'm making another video for my foundation. I wanted to clear up something about in astrology synastry, which, if you don't know what that is, you can either go to my astrology videos or look it up on the internet somewhere. But anyway, Neptune is fog and deceit, and uh, there's good sides of it too. But anyway, for synastry though, in relationships, two people relating to each other, I wanted to talk about chakras also and energy, and law of attraction stuff. Whenever there's no Neptune in the situation, and you're like, well, they changed and I can see who they are now, you don't get to blame Neptune for that because it's not fog and deceit. They're not being deceitful like in a Neptune way. If they flat out lie to you, that's the fifth house. But you don't get to blame fog and deceit like that in a Neptune way. Like what Neptune really is that it has this, it's like a spell over you because it's a romantic planet and you think the best of the person and you have too high of expectations of who they are, and you put your projections on them of who you think they should be. If there's no Neptune in the situation, that's not going on. If it's lies, that's one thing, just like on purpose lies. Neptune's not an on purpose lie like the fifth house can be. But anyway, so the whole chakras thing being, if your chakras are out of balance, and especially if there's anything going on about the ego or the fifth house, which is the same thing, or the sun, like Leo or whatever, that's one thing. That's not quite what I'm talking about. That can happen in it a lot. And especially because of fear, people sometimes lie or put on a good face or whatever for the public, like for acting like they're not imperfect, or don't have flaws, or because they're afraid to show their flaws. But what I'm talking about is if the chakras are screwed up, um, that's an informal way of saying it. I should say out of balance, too high or too low. If that's going on, which it most likely is, if there's anything else going on with lying or anything in the first place, but you don't have to necessarily just flat out lie on purpose to have a situation going on, where you're afraid to show someone your flaws. But anyway, if your chakras are out of balance, you don't get to blame some spell that was cast over you by Neptune if there's no Neptune synastry. Because if it's not a Neptune synastry, you can see who the person is. Whether or not you're gullible and believe lies, that's one thing. But other than that, you can see who they are. If you don't want to, because you either have this belief system of everyone's worth it, and people are all imperfect and have out of balance chakras and all that stuff, that's a good thing. And, that's the right way to think, because no one is, like not worth it to love, like so many people act like they are. But I just wanted to clear up the fact that there's not some Neptune spell cast over you if there's no Neptune synastry happening to where you really can't see who they are. So I just wanted to put that out there. Like, don't blame some, if you have the resources to, don't blame some spell that was put on you by Neptune if there wasn't one, because that's not fair to tell them that it's their fault what you're choosing to do about them. If you choose not to work on a relationship, especially if there's no Saturn, that's one thing, or Jupiter also, because that really is glue in relationships and keeps people together, but Saturn does. But if there is, especially, and you choose not to, don't blame some Neptune spell that was cast on you when there wasn't one. Because that's not fair to put your decisions on someone else. So, anyway, I hope that clears up a little bit of what goes on sometimes in relationships, and um, uh, gives you perspective, a certain kind of perspective on that. Um, but the other thing in my title is about wasting time and energy and effort. Whenever your chakras are out of balance and someone else is around and you have insecurities and flaws, don't put them on someone else just because they look a certain way or do a certain thing and call them naive when they're not. Not that they don't have out of balance chakras sometimes and, all that stuff, but don't like label them naive because you are, maybe. Especially like certain ages, like 20 or 35 or 33, or, the older you get, the less naive you get, you know. With experience, we all know what that's like. I mean, when you're still 20 something, you're still a little bit naive. And so, like, whenever you're interacting with older adults, don't blame them for being naive when you're the one that maybe is, or, you're the one that's manipulated, you know. Whenever, especially like me having my foundation the way it is, the way I'm establishing it, like, don't come up with excuses why you can't be around someone. And especially, like, whenever someone just like establishes who they are by living a certain way, like, don't waste your time and your energy and your effort to try to change who they are to suit you. You're out of balance chakras because you want someone to manipulate. Seriously, like, you waste time and a whole lot of effort and energy trying to put some kind of a character or personality on someone else that doesn't have that kind of naive personality or whatever. It takes more effort to do that than it does to let them be who they are and to relate to people without walls, like what my foundation, part of what my foundation is about. Whenever you put effort into building up walls, you're putting more effort into doing that than if you just let them down. Seriously, like, that's the truth. You put more effort into things, like walls, like I said, like, whenever you're trying to protect yourself or hide your insecurities and your whatever else is, that takes more energy than to just let people see you and to let someone else be who they are. Whenever someone has established that they want to be nice to you and that they're not gonna act like you're not worth it because you have flaws, and whenever they've said you are worth it even though you have flaws, because we're all the same, because we're all worth it to love and whatever, whenever someone establishes that and they've established that they're not into game playing and they establish that, they're not naive and all that stuff, especially with age, like I said. Don't waste your energy into trying to making them be someone they're not about that subject. You're putting more effort into that than what it takes to just let them be who they are and to not have a wall between you. Trying to make them naive when they're not is a wall because of yourself. It's not because of them. Now, if there is someone that is naive or manipulated, that's one thing, but it's still a reflection of you, not just them. It's directly a reflection of your life. I mean, and especially like if some woman is cheated on and then she feels hurt and wants to manipulate people and wants to have someone to try to make look like what she felt like she looked like, manipulated or naive or whatever, when the other person might not be, like you're wasting your time and your energy, into trying to making them look like what you were. I mean, seriously, like why? Uh, You're wasting more effort or more energy doing that, trying to make them someone they're not, than if you just let them be who they are and just like get over it. Like have a backbone enough to let the eighth house and Pluto help you let go of your inner demons and your fear, of relationships and all that stuff, like don't try to make some other adult be naive when they're not because like I said, you're putting more effort into that and it's just building up walls. That takes more effort than did just letting go of your fears with the help of the eighth house, and relating to people. It literally takes more effort into building up the wall than it does to relating to people. It just does. That's just all there is to it. I don't get it. Like, I mean, like, I'm not saying anyone's perfect or never like naive or manipulated because all children growing up into adults are until life makes you not naive anymore. But seriously, like, leave that in the past when you're an adult and like live as an adult then, like, and like the part of your life now where you're not naive anymore but you used to be, like separate the two and like leave that naive stuff in the past, like don't try to make other adults, naive when they're not either, like I don't get it. Like you're wasting your energy and you're getting your chakras out of balance, the more you do those kinds of things, and it's not affecting the other person's chakras, even though they could have out of balance chakras. But they affect their own. You don't affect theirs. And they don't affect yours either, You only affect your own. I mean, like, seriously, it's the truth. You literally can't affect someone else's chakras. You only affect one person's, and that's your own. So, like, I don't get, like, what the whole big point is to prove that you're gonna do something that you're not gonna do. Like, like for one thing, get my chakras is different than they are, like whether they're out of balance or not, that's one thing because no one has perfect chakras. And the other thing is making another adult naive when I'm not anymore, Like I don't honestly get that at all. Like how do you even come up with that? Like it's not even a thing. Like you can't do that to another adult that isn't naive anymore. Like it's ridiculous, you know? So I just wanted to put that out there also, like think about it. It's really something to think about. So anyway, if anyone watches this video, thanks for watching and I'll be making more videos.